So the replay desynced somewhere around 11 minutes, and that's roughly where I am. I'm in the first-person camera view, and as long as the person playing this game, continues to have his camera in a reasonable position, I guess I can stick to that. So now that the armory is started, you really want to get +2 attack and armor for your infantry. At the same time as you get stim and combat shields, and then throw down a couple of medevacs. And this third command center, I usually like to start around 13 minutes, and so it's 12 minutes and 30 seconds, and I started it. And the reason for that is if you look at the SCV count, I'm at 60. That means I'm max saturation on 2 bases. So if I don't build a third and establish it pretty soon, I will have more workers than can possibly be mining, and what's the point in that? I mean, I'd either have to stop making workers, which is terrible, or have a bunch of workers that aren't doing anything, which also is terrible. So you can see I also sent a Viking off to just kind of be Viking. I mean a dropship full of dudes off to go be not Vikings. And the idea here is that drop harass encourages people to say, I wish I could have killed that medevac instead of having to just watch it fly away. It encourages them to make and engage with mutas. So he does make mutas, and I say, oh, well, because he's made mutas, I basically win this game. Yay, good times. And it's not just because he made mutas that I feel like I'm ahead. It's also that he let me secure this third. That is awesome. Anytime I can secure a third and there's no overlord pooping creep down on my third, and there's no creep tumors at my third, and there's no giant army waiting to intercept my command center as it floats to my third, I just feel really good about my life. So this is terrible. You never want to have a terrible, terrible marine spread against banelings. And I kind of noticed just a tad too late to do anything about it. So if you look at units lost at this point, I'm up by 800. And 2 seconds later, boom, boom, boom. Now he's up by 800. So first I was up by 800, and now he's up by 800, and good times. So I did manage to save enough Marines that I still am forcing his attention to be kind of paid over here. You'll notice he's had mutas in my base the entire time, and I haven't been looking at them. That's because mutas don't do damage. He's got a ton of mutas in my base. They haven't done anything. They killed one reactor core, they almost killed a racks, they killed another reactor core. That is it. That is it. That entire time, they've killed almost nothing. Also, I had all my racks kind of rallied underneath the muta cloud, just kind of suiciding Marines into them. I don't mind. I'm totally okay with it. Units lost is still only in his favor by 800. So let's lock the camera again. Yeah, there we go. Sorry. I don't know why I paused to say all that. I could have said that, more without pausing. So now I've got my Marine medevac standing on creep out over here, and he can see everything that stands on creep. So my goal with these dudes is to just kind of keep drawing his attention over here, and hopefully force him to come engage in this silly spot, and then drop up on the high ground and shoot the dudes and down there. This is all sort of reinforcing the you need air, you need air, you need to be able to counter what I'm doing that is only counterable by anti-air. Hey, this is air and air things. So yeah, I'm just kind of trying to reinforce him getting mutas situation. So he managed to knock down 2 racks and a reactor core, and that is all. After several minutes of being left all alone, killing whatever he wants in my base, we're even on units lost. Isn't that cool? So like, yeah, mutas, people get scared of mutas, don't get scared of mutas. They don't do damage. Even if you leave them unopposed sitting above your production facilities, they don't do damage. So at this point, $ spent, he has spent, again, 1,500 more than me on economy. That's weird. Zergs tend to spend so much more on economy. There must be something to do with queens and hatcheries or something. Very little on tech and about the same on army. Usually a Zerg wants to be ahead by like 30% on army spending because their army, because they spend so little on tech. Yeah. If that makes sense. Like, we both get the same amount of money, so if you spend less on tech, you should spend more on army. That's just the way the universe works. So, units lost, we're still both kind of, the same on units lost. He's getting air upgrades, And I think that might be Overlord speed. Ooh, that's neat. I didn't even realize that he got that. And an infestor thingy and 10 more mutas. See, the more mutas he wins, the better I feel. I'm knocking down the rocks at my gold and kind of thinking of taking a fourth. It's important that as your main runs dry, you get a fourth, because I have 90 workers, which means I can saturate 3 bases, but if I don't have 3 mining bases, then obviously that's just a whole bunch of workers I can't use. So saturating this final gold base will allow me to actually use some of these workers. Again, very pathetic splits on my marines, but this is one way to auto-split your marines, is find something like Sunkens or a hatchery, and just auto-attack into it, and your marines will form this sort of auto-split, where see there's a group of 5 here for banelings to splash, and a group of 4 here for banelings to splash. But if banelings hit here, they're only going to hit 3 dudes, and if they hit here, they're only going to hit 3 dudes. So it's just kind of a generally decent AoE split to just A-move into something at a reasonable arc. Also, luckily, he's spent so much money on mutas that he's taking these almost 20 mutas and attacking into me, and the damage differential, army size lost, is just going through the roof, because mutas are a terrible, terrible unit to fight with against marines. You don't want to ever be hitting marines with your mutas. In the standard TvZ, the reason people like this moron get so many mutas is because they're used to seeing marine tank, right? So there will be a couple of tanks over here, over here, over here, and he's going to constantly bunch his mutas up and try to knock down a tank, knock down another tank, knock down another tank. See, he darted in to try to hit this medevac and all that kind of stuff. But if I have nothing for him to dart in and hit, except for marines, then he's going to dart in and hit marines and lose so many mutas. I don't know if you were watching, but I fast-forwarded until our units lost was even, and now it's double. Double! 12,000 units lost for him, 6,000 for me. Like, mutas, terrible. So this is just yet another game where the Zerg thought that making mutas was somehow a good plan, and then he lost them all. I guess I thought I had the camera locked, but I didn't. So in that battle, he showed up with some banelings, and so I just picked up all my dudes and walked away, because I'm the man. So, in general, if you continue to persist with upgraded Marine Medevac, he will at some point suicide his mutas in order to try to save one of his bases. And once the mutas are dead, you can go back to the Medevac kind of bouncing around sort of thing, where you just hop into Medevacs and float away peacefully. So he comes with these banelings, and I'm like, oh, float away, la la la, you have no anti-air, you have no anti-air. So people will lose a bajillion dollars worth of mutas, and then you hop into medevacs and float away, and he says, damn it, I have no anti-air. So now he has to choose, do I make more of the unit that did horribly, horribly badly a second ago? Or, I don't know, how do I stop this sort of anti-air? So, as you can see, he's chosen to get $4,000 in the bank unspent on anything useful, make a couple banelings, and try to go attack my main. Kind of a stupid choice, but what other choice does he have? I mean, at this point, there's really nothing he can do that will be of any consequence. So he comes and just kind of suicides some units up there for no reason, suicides some overlords over here, and then... come on, baby. SC2 is fucking nonsense. That is his take on this game so far, and then he leaves. So yet another game where the Zerg spent significantly more money on army than I did, and just couldn't win because he chose to make mutas. So thank you every other Terran in the world for going Marine Tank Medevac and convincing the Zergs that making mutas is beneficial, because us people who don't make tanks, we get to just dominate all of those geniuses who are used